Hello and welcome to our 5th episode of TechPad. Wow, it's incredible we've made it this far. So,
Yeah.
welcome. Tonight, we got something special for you. We're going to be redoing our last video because of some miscellaneous issues that resulted in you not being able to hear during the live stream. We'll address that in a minute. And a couple other things. We're going to be structuring, thank you, our TechPad starting this week with some user questions. And then a couple weeks down the line, we'll add some news and just generally add some structure. But without further ado, I'm Jackson Staats, and this is my co-host, Blaze Smith.
All right, so for this episode, we are going to be covering eWaste and what it is and why you should care.
Well, cool. So, as I said earlier, we're going to be starting off our TechPad today with viewer questions. We actually had one come out the other day. So here's the question. Should I be powering down my phone? How often and how long? Why or why not?
All right, so
That's the first question we're going to answer on TechPad. Blaze, you have any thoughts?
So personally, I don't really have too much knowledge on this, but I'm going to say personally quite a lot. I only restart it when I need to. So like having problems, or then the update automatically restarts it.
Yeah.
So.
Cool. Well, that goes pretty much for me too. I would recommend, this is only for phones. Windows is a different story. I would recommend that you restart it whenever you start having issues. Like apps start doing weird stuff or that kind of thing. And when the system recommends you for a restart for an update. Those are the two times I usually restart. For Windows, I know we were talking about phones, but for Windows, I usually do a daily restart. Just works better that way.
Gets a little slow sometimes.
As for how long you should shut it down for, I'd say about a minute after it fully shuts down. Just get everything nice and shut down and then start it back up. If you're shutting it down long term, though, I would recommend draining it to 50%, the battery, because that's how you get the most, that's how you take care of your battery. If you store it at 100%, it can prematurely wear your battery and that sort of thing. But so yeah, that was the first question for TechPad. So on to our topic. What do we have for eWaste?
eWaste. So what it is? So start out with what eWaste is. So it's just the disposal of electronics, which ranges from phones, computers, and goes to ink cartridges.
Ooh, that's a big one.
I didn't recognize as a
ink cartridges are huge source of waste. For
I use
our family in general. Let's see, we go through a ton of ink cartridges. I mean, you have the black, the magenta, the yellow, I don't know, what do they call the colors? I don't know, but all of those colors, like once every couple of months, you just throw them away. But you shouldn't actually throw them away. No, especially not if you have options available.
Yes, like recycling.
Recycling, yes.
So, e-waste, just the disposal of electronics.
Yep.
And e-waste is caused by the incorrect way for disposal of electronics.
Like going to the landfill.
Just throwing them in your trash instead of finding a place where you can recycle them properly.
Yeah. So, what sort of places can you do that?
Conveniently brings us into the programs.
Ooh.
All right, so start off. Longmont, Colorado has a kind of site where you can find different places to dispose of your electronics. So the website is longmontcolorado.gov. I found it just by searching in recycling for Longmont, Colorado. And they have a little thing called Waste Wizard.
Waste Wizard.
On their website, which just search an item and you can easily find where to dispose of it. And there's
Waste Wizard. That's quite the name.
Yeah.
Waste Wizard.
Waste Wizard.
Can you dispose of it at the Waste Diversion Center? Because I know that's a pretty big spot for recycling in Longmont. But is it e-waste recycling?
I haven't actually researched that. I know that there's recycling. I've recycled there.
Probably not. We'll look into that.
Might be specialty for.
I feel like just they have the metal pile.
Not specifically electronics.
But I don't know if they do it. Well, there you go. If you live in Longmont, Colorado, Waste Wizard will tell you how to dispose of your stuff. Yeah. Another great place to dispose of e-waste is Best Buy. So no matter where you live, if you live near a Best Buy, you can recycle it there. They have kind of like a limit, like 5 items or something. But I don't know, if you bring in ink cartridges, I don't know, what do you call them? Is that right? Yeah. You can, oh, bless you. You can dispose of them there at Best Buy. That goes for a bunch of other electronics like laptops and stuff. But I wouldn't recommend putting your laptops at Best Buy.
No.
I'm guessing you could probably sell them, right?
Yeah, you could make money off of it while you're at it. Might as well.
Yeah, might as well. Especially if it's like a newer laptop. Like if it's an old one, I'd just recycle it. My mom has like an ancient Sony laptop that's nobody would ever buy. Still uses the socketed CPU chips. You can replace the CPU in this laptop, which is unheard of nowadays. I would just e-waste that, not e-waste it, e-recycle it. But otherwise, sell them on eBay. Yeah, that would be a great way.
You usually don't make too much off of used electronics.
Yeah, but I'd say it's better than $0.
Yeah.
I mean, depends on how much your time is worth, I guess. If you have enough time to sell your laptop on eBay or what is the other ones, Craigslist and that sort of thing, then go for it. Just depends on who you are.
Personally, I don't. I just keep all of my old electronics and then just wait.
E-hoarder.
And then I wait. Or at least I do have a cables and old electronics box.
Yeah.
But just might as well hold on to them.
Wait, your mic is a little low. Let me turn it up.
All right. Yes. Cool.
Now we might actually be able to hear Blaze. It's a little bit low. Right. Yep, there we go. That's better. Okay.
Nice.
Where were we?
Recycling old electronics and selling them. So
cool.
You can do that. There's a few other websites that you can go to find stuff, and then the places. I don't really have them memorized, which places you can recycle them, but you said eBay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Best Buy to recycle them.
Yeah.
And you can pretty much just search up online.
Yeah.
Now, it brings us to an interesting subject, the disposal of hard drives.
This is a good topic. I forgot about this one for a minute. That's what people store all their information on, right?
Yeah.
You have to take some pretty special precautions, especially if you have like confidential information on it. You have to take some pretty careful measures when disposing of your hard drives. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So hard drives still remember the data that's on them. If they're not, like the normal delete commands still leave a imprint of the data that was there. So you can, it's for so you can recover it.
Yeah.
So it has to go through a whole different.
Like the recycle bin.
Yeah.
If you hit delete on Windows, it goes to the recycle bin. It's not actually deleted.
No.
Even if you empty the recycle bin, right?
It's still there.
It's still there.
Until it gets,
Oh, no, go for it.
Until it gets overwritten.
Yeah, so you have to overwrite data a couple of times to get it fully deleted, which is one of the special precautions, actually. If you're getting rid of your old computer, there's plenty of software out there, some of it free, some of it paid for. If you want to software wipe your drive, where it'll just go through and just write crap to the drive over and over and over again until you won't ever be able to find anything. But there's probably more efficient ways, right? If you destroy them,
you could physically destroy a hard drive and you can't get anything off of it.
Yeah, if you shred it, there's industrial shredders, which usually those are for government, computers where they just shred the entire thing and e-waste it, which is not a great way to prevent e-waste.
No,
at all, because then you just throw the computer bits into the.
It's a good dump, way to make sure no one gets a hold of information.
Yeah, but it's not very e-waste friendly.
No.
Yeah. Speaking of e-waste friendly, what kind of damages can be done environmentally? Like why do you want to recycle your electronics? I mean, of course you could throw them in the dump.
Yeah.
like a lot of other things. But why would you want to recycle it?
So many electronics a lot of them are made with valuable resources.
Yeah.
Which to gather those resources takes a toll on the environment. So it's always good to recycle those for that reason.
Yep.
And electronics are also, they have chemicals in them. So
yeah.
So if you burn it or like
yeah, burning electronics, that doesn't
sit well.
That's like
or the process.
Yeah. Lead, the metals in it, not all of them can be recycled.
No.
One of those is lead. I guess you could recycle it if you really wanted to, but all the traces on motherboards are made of lead.
Huh.
You just throw it in the landfill. I mean, you got to be careful because all that lead could just go into the ground. You know, and same thing. If you just leave a computer outside, you know, just A, it would ruin it, but B, you could effectively poison the environment because you're letting all that lead kind of soak out and into the ground.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's just so many chemicals in computers that it's just the whole e-waste thing is just how hard it is to properly dispose of because it takes so much, you know, chemicals and takes such a toll on the environment. You know, it's a lot better to recycle them. And speaking of ways to recycle, we've already gone through Best Buy and something, but
just Best Buy for now.
Yeah, Best Buy. Oh, did you have another place you could recycle?
No.
Ah, gotcha. Fair enough. Reusing old electronics. How have you? I mean, me personally. I mean, just yesterday, I went up and one of the robotics places here in Longmont has this like whole container of old computers that have been replaced, and they're selling them off for like $20. These are perfectly fine computers that you can like buy for $20 and use. Yeah. They're not very power efficient, but we're going to use it. At least I am, as a video encoding server for streaming, like just a hardware streamer. And it's a great way to reuse devices. Mm-hmm. Another way I found on the internet it's called Folding at Home.
Huh.
And it's essentially like a distributed computer organization. I think it's a nonprofit that essentially, when your computer's at idle, or all the time, depending on how you set it, will use your computer's processing power to run protein simulations to help cure cancer or work on diseases like Alzheimer's and dementia and that sort of thing. So you can be using these old computers. They may not be power efficient, but still a little bit better than putting them in and, junking them. You can use them to help contribute to a cure for a disease. There's a couple of other things like Bitcoin mining. Would not recommend, not profitable, but
especially for old computers.
Yeah, especially for old computers. Would not recommend. What was the other one? I feel like there's a couple of others. You should Google it if you're interested. There's a whole bunch of different organizations out there that you can use. NASA had a program that collected all this data, and they calculated it would take years, maybe even decades, to process through all of this data they gathered. And they created a program. I think they created a program. I think they did. And just put it out for people to use and work through the data while their computer was idle. And they plowed through it in like a year. It was incredible. So if you're interested, if you have a pretty decent computer and you don't want to e-waste it, I would consider that a great option because you can just use that computer for a good purpose instead of just junking it.
I haven't actually heard of that, the NASA program.
Yeah. I think it was SETA, I think so. We'll have to Google that. I just remember they did that. And it was great because they didn't have to use supercomputer time to fly through the data.
A success.
But yeah, success. So, did you have any other critical points on e-waste? I just kicked the table.
Kind of going back. Don't mean to go back too much, but
no, you can go back as much as you want.
All right, back to the other places where you can recycle.
Yeah.
I know Razer, the kind of gaming brand.
Yeah, the gaming laptop brand. Yeah. I'm with you.
You can dispose any of their products at like a Razer store
for like that's a good idea.
For voucher worth $10, $10 US.
That's $10
per item.
Oh, per item. Gotcha.
Per item. You get a voucher for a razor.
Yeah, Apple does that too. You can
do trade-in.
Yeah, the trade-in. They're a little squirrely about it. You can trade it in for credit. You know, like credit towards a new computer. Like you trade it in, you get a new one. I don't know. My MacBook Pro is worth like $500 or so if I wanted to trade it in and buy a new one. Well, that's what they quoted me.
So more like $80, but
that was probably what I'd sell it for on eBay. Actually, no, these laptops are going for quite a bit.
Apple like products 500 or more.
Apple products like don't depreciate very much, especially right now,
which is very sad for me.
Yeah, he's just trying to buy a new computer.
Yeah,
yeah, which is good for e-waste. I mean, if your computer still works for a long time and still holds its value, it means it's still valuable and less likely to be thrown away.
More likely to be sold.
More likely to be sold to somebody else, yeah.
Instead of a old 1050 Ti graphics card.
Yeah. I know more people that buy used products than buy used Mac products, used Apple products, than do buy new ones. I think that says a lot about preventing e-waste. But anyways, back to the what they do. Even if they don't offer you any money, they'll still take it and recycle it for free.
Yeah.
Like they'll take everything out.
You don't have to pay any money.
So you don't have to dispose of it. It's a great way to dispose of literally an entire computer for free. I'd call that a win.
That is a win.
I mean, all the major companies do that, I think. Offer trade-ins, which would be because they either refurbish them or hopefully they don't throw them away, but they recycle them.
I heard Dell has they don't really have I didn't see that they had a program for trade-ins or anything, but they did have a recycling section.
Yeah. On their
website.
Well, Dell is Dell, but
Dell Technologies.
Dell Technologies, yeah.
That's what they want us to say.
Yeah. Well, cool. Do you have any other e-waste-y kind of things you wanted to talk about?
Let me take a look here. So we went over most of these.
Speaking of Apple laptops.
Yeah.
I'm going to probably sell this one and get a new one or something.
Okay, M1, Jackson.
M1, yeah.
M1 because it's insanely better than previous MacBooks.
Most likely, yeah.
And it's pretty similar
I'm
pricing.
going to trade it in like a good environmentally conscious citizen.
Citizen.
I'm a citizen.
Okay.
I'm an Eagle Scout. Eagle Scout.
Kind of have to be a citizen for that one.
I might do a senior project at school related to e-waste.
Really?
I might do it. I had I was going through auctions, like the Denver auction kind of stuff. And they're selling like pallets of old computers, like government auctions, where they're selling off their old stuff. And I found it really interesting. I mean, these pallets of computers were going for $500 or less, and they're perfectly functional. There's nothing wrong with them. They're just selling them off to get a little extra cash. And I figured you could use this.
Yeah.
I mean, they may not be the most efficient or anything, but I figured that it takes more energy to build and buy a new computer specifically for the purpose of this project, which I'll explain in a second, than it is to just buy a whole bunch of used computers. And I figured if you could find a way to power them efficiently, like with solar panels or, renewable energy, you could use them for a good purpose, like folding at home. You do, the protein simulations to find a cure. And if you could do that, you've kept all the computers out of an e-waste facility.
Yeah.
And you've effectively put them in a room full of a whole bunch of other computers, and you're having them, process for a good cause. And I think that that's like awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do that, and hopefully we can get the school district to pay for it. That'd be great.
That'd be nice.
It'd be great. As a senior project, I think they usually do. So I'm hoping that's going to be my senior project. I hope I get to do a senior project at all. Mm-hmm. Who knows with my current schedule, but hopefully I'll be able to do that. So I thought that was just a a great idea. You have any thoughts on that sort of recycling where you just pull from an auction and, do good things with it?
Well,
I mean, I kind of put you on the spot there, but
I mean, I don't have any plans for a senior project, but yeah, it's much better than. Might as well put them to use.
Yeah. For those of you looking for an Eagle Scout project, that might be a pretty good one too. Grandma has an old computer in her basement. You can contact like a local e-recycler. Those do exist. There's whole company platforms based on recycling, like reselling old electronics. Like you donate or you sell it off to these companies, and they will resell it for parts or, do recycling and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
My lips are all dry from playing my instrument in marching band all day. Had to get a LaCroix.
LaCroix for marching band. I'm not in it.
Yeah.
So,
Which is an interesting marketing platform, but I figured that might be a good Eagle Scout project. Like you just donate it all or sell it to. Now you can't sell it for an Eagle Scout project. Like you do a collection of e-waste kind of things, like old cell phones, old computers, that sort of thing, and collect them all up so people don't have to throw them away and responsibly recycle them. I think that'd be a great Eagle Scout project.
Yeah.
Because you got the manpower, and I'm sure there's tons of people in Longmont that just have old computers laying around. I definitely have, let's see, 1, 2, 3 computers that I'm not using at all that could be e-wasted, recycled, and a whole bunch of cell phones, iPods, like old flip phones from when we lived in Europe, and all that sort of thing that, I mean, we just are too lazy to take to the e-waste facility. But if somebody came and picked them up, that'd be great. I'd figure that's a pretty good Eagle Scout project, really.
Yeah.
For those of you who are interested, maybe for my brother Henry, if he's watching, that'd be a good project.
Could you sell them for a profit, not for yourself, but for like a charitable donation?
Like through the part of the Eagle Scout project?
Like, could you use electronics and sell them?
That's an interesting thing.
So like sell the old electronics, collect old ones.
Like refurbishing yourself kind of thing.
And then like you take in all the old electronics.
Yeah.
Except for some of them you would put to the programs like the NASA, the proteins, the computers.
The full day at home, yeah.
And then the phones and everything else you could either sell to a recycling place.
Yeah. Like a refurbish.
Not for your profit, but
to
be put into a charitable donation for some place.
Never thought about that.
Would that be possible?
I'd figure a lot of the computers that you would pick up, like receive as donations, would be probably just junk, like just grandma's ancient computer.
It hasn't run for a decade.
Yeah, it hasn't run for a decade, but you might luck out. Like I know, looking on eBay and Amazon, you can buy an S9 or S10 for super cheap. And so they obviously exist because people are selling them. So if you could just get them to donate it for a good cause, and you could donate I've never thought about this. You could donate a perfectly functional phone or computer to somebody who needs it, like an organization, right? That's an interesting idea. Never thought about that before. I would assume you could do it. Yeah. You just have to find things that are worthy of donating, because if you just donate an old junker, it's not really helping anybody. But
something that's nothing that's bricked.
Yeah. Got a couple of bricked cell phones that would do no good to anybody.
My cell phones.
Yeah.
That goes into reducing e-waste.
No.
Just when you break a cell phone.
Yeah.
Like I go through cell phones pretty quick because
you just break them.
I just break them.
Yeah.
I have cases and I still break the screen.
Yeah. Well, actually, that might be a good point. Buy a phone case. That's a good way you can prevent e-waste.
I did buy a phone case.
Because, Blaze is special. He tends to break phones even when they have freaking OtterBoxes on them.
Screen protector, a phone case on it.
For normal people, you could probably...
It is a good way.
That's a good way to prevent e-waste. If you can make your phone last longer, you're keeping stuff out of the e-waste facilities, which is awesome. That's why I tend to reuse old computers and stuff for useful purposes. And let's see, one of my old phones we just use at my dad's distillery as a music player. You know, it works perfectly fine. The battery is swappable. So if the battery runs out, you don't have to junk the entire phone. You just replace the battery. And cough, cough, Apple is a great example of, you know, how they don't depreciate, but you can't service them. Like, even though you can keep, you know, selling them and people are still interested, the new M1, it's all on a single chip. I mean, if that chip dies, it's all on one board. That board dies, you toss it.
No one can service it.
Yeah, it's not serviceable. Not even Apple, because everything is soldered to the board.
It'd be, you just have to either get a new laptop or
just put in another board, you know, to junk the other ones.
But by then, it's just pretty much a whole new thing. That's making products easily upgradable and easily repairable.
So, you know, how Apple's keeping, you know, for environmental purposes, the chargers out of they sell their phones without chargers. And the charger is not included. Yeah, the new ones.
Really?
Yeah, and actually Samsung is doing this too. There's a big controversy because I think starting with the iPhone 11, maybe 12, they made a big controversial announcement. We're no longer, you know, the chargers are sold separately.
I mean, they should bring the price down, in my opinion, but they don't.
Yeah, and yes, I guess you could consider that being more environmentally friendly because, you know, if you already have the charger, you don't need another one. And you can pack more phones in a shipping container or something. That's what they said. But
there should be an option, I think, where it's...
And I mean, of course, you can go buy them.
But free with the phone, but you have to select that option or ask for a charger.
That's a great way of doing it.
It's not just fully out of the...
You just opt in, you know.
Opt in for it.
Yeah. Which is I guess that goes to show... how manufacturers could do a better job. You know, these big like Apple and Dell could just do a better job of making it more environmentally friendly, not just not including a charger in the box.
Yeah.
But like actually making these computers so that you can, you know, if the RAM dies, you can pull it out, swap in a new one, you can upgrade the drive. You can, like my MacBook Pro, like I thought before I got the job here along with public media, 128 gigs is fine. Once you start video editing, you quickly realize that is very marginal at best. But I really wish, you know, like a lot of Windows laptops actually pull the old drive out, buy a new one at Best Buy, on Amazon, on Newegg, copy the data over, plop it in. You know, double, triple, quadruple your storage for a whole bunch less of the original computer price. Which, oops, I did not mean to do that. Which I wish more people did, more manufacturers did, specifically Apple. But yeah, it is what it is.
And then kind of.
By the way, we got 1 minute left.
Okay.
So
I'll leave that alone.
Oh, okay. Oh, did you have a good point or something?
Just taking out everything on Apple again.
Yep.
Making fun of Apple.
Yeah, that's what I'm good at. That's what I'm good at. So. We're about 30 seconds out from Channel 8 ending. So, I'm Jackson Staats, and this is Blaze Smith. We'd like to thank you for watching TechPad. If you've got questions for us to discuss in the show or topics that you'd like to see discussed, jackson.stats@longmontpublicmedia.org. Send them there. I'll answer them. We're looking for questions. We're looking for new topics, all that good stuff. So, for those of you on Channel 8, I'd like to thank you for watching TechPad. We ended a little bit early. All right, Channel 8 is off.
All right.
And for those of you who are on all of our other platforms like Facebook and YouTube, I'd like to thank you for watching TechPad. And once again, if you have any ideas, jackson.stats@longmontpublicmedia.org. I'd like to thank you for watching. And I'll see you next Wednesday at 6 p.m. Thank you.
Yep.
Yep. That took a hot second. Okay, there we go. We're off.